Hey, y'all, we got chairs. You know you don't have to sit on the floor.
I brought forks and spoons if any of y'all want.
What's up, guys? Spenny. You got to respect the game when a politician tells you who they are. And no matter what people think, they're just straight up honest about it. Like when Zorhan Mamdani says at a protest event that he's here in order to remake America in the image of his people. Remember, he's raised in Uganda. He's a Muslim communist. And
we came here to remake this state in the image of our people.
Okay, we're going to remake the state in the image of his people. What does that look like
Exactly.
exactly?
To have dinner with the mayor. Zoran Mamdani is the first mayor to host the iftar in his office, and it was honestly so wholesome. When we arrived, the room was decorated with these beautiful carpets. We all sat down, took off our shoes, and prepared to break our fast. I personally do not like dates, but of course the mayor gave it to me, so I had to try it. The conversations at this iftar was truly so wholesome. We spoke about our families, our Eid traditions, our favorite meals, and our goals for the rest of Ramadan. I participated, but not too much because that food was too good for me to put down. Me and him had a little one-on-one conversation about the rent prices in New York, and he said he's gonna put it down. JK, he didn't say that, but he definitely should. Became besties after, and then finished off the night with taking pictures, content, and etc. And honestly, a huge shout out to our amazing mayor. I really wish you guys were there. We felt like a family. Everything was so thoughtful and wholesome. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him, and I hope to be back here next year.
May Allah reward him, because everyone in the mayor's office now wearing a burqa and sharing content like this. We're gonna remake the country in the image of our people.
We just had like 30 maybe, so we're pretty far off.
Dinner with Mayor Zoran Mamdani, and this is how it
were they all like required to
Mayor last minute. You get the best outfit from your mom to rep your culture, and you take a deep breath and head over to City Hall. I was so excited to get the honor to attend City Hall, to have the first ever iftar with the first ever Muslim mayor of New York City. Like walking into the space just did not feel real, and it's so amazing because this generational iconic conference room was transformed into a South Asian style sitting on the floor iftar room. Y'all already know I had to do a fit check in that room. It felt so surreal when the mayor walked in and said salam, and then he personally handed out dates to everyone, and his little girly pop socks were just like the cherry on top. The most beautiful part of this iftar is that it didn't just have Muslim people, it had people from all religions and backgrounds, and it was just so wholesome to see people from non-Muslim backgrounds just fast for us in solidarity. We also had a beautiful group discussion on our favorite Ramadan traditions and things that we really like about it, and it just shows how interconnected we are despite our backgrounds. I saw some of my favorite creators, but most importantly, I finally found a space where we felt welcomed and represented.
Just one. There we go. We're gonna remake this city, this state, in the image of our people. This is what it looks like, with Alexander Hamilton standing in the oil painting of Alexander Hamilton, glaring down. Unspeakable. Nobody named Muhammad fought in the Revolutionary War, signed the founding documents, signed the Declaration of Independence, nor would they have, of course. The founding documents of this country are antithetical to Sharia law. And that's just a matter of fact. Like the First Amendment, for instance, is antithetical to Islam. But this happened anyway, and it happened right in the mayor's office. And people are crashing out over it, and rightfully so. If a Christian New York City mayor was praying with his staff in front of a cross in City Hall, forcing everybody to profess the divinity of Christ, which would be based, by the way, and also not to support it, everybody would be screaming about separation of church and state. That's exactly what they would be screaming about. New York City Hall under Mamdani, not AI. Wow, why are the women in burqas? Is this like, somebody explain that? Exactly. Mamdani model is the model for Democrats nationally. Import foreigners, bribe them their votes for government benefits, overwhelm the native population, replace the native population's customs and culture. It must be stopped. Less than 25 years apart. It's a tough one. When you import enough foreign voters. That's right. Yeah. Grotesque. Seriously, my 3-year-olds don't eat like that. Not sure why anybody is surprised here. We'll be in New York City public schools very soon. In fact, nativity scenes in the Ten Commandments are banned. Yeah. Oh, look. The ISIS bombers. For those of us who were in New York City and vividly remember 9/11, this is an atrocity, and I'm disgusted by what has transpired in our country over 25 years. George W. Bush decided to import infinity Muslims to the country after 9/11. Isn't that strange? Isn't that odd? What strange behavior. George W. Bush was president for the next 7 years and had some pretty firm control of the House and the Senate. Could have done anything he wanted to. Could have severely restricted immigration. Instead, they did infinity migrants from Muslim countries. Imagine showing this picture to the founding fathers. That's right. When leftists mean separation of state and religion, they only mean Christianity. That's exactly right. Leftist religion is evil. Separate church and state. Also leftist. Mamdani handpicked huge content creators on purpose, straight up turning the mayor's office into a weapon to ram Islam nationwide. Wake up. Infiltration needs to be addressed. Eating on the floor without silverware. I don't get it. Mamdani's guest of honor this week was a foreigner who said he wants to eradicate Western civilization and a Muslim doing the ISIS symbol. Cool, dude. Cool, bro. Mamdani also hosted a Columbia student arrested by ICE. Okay. New York is cooked, bro. Tim Burchett said so. He was on our program earlier in the week. I asked him about this, and he did the Tim Burchett thing. Here you go. Really quickly, because you brought that up, and I know you got to go, but like these photos from Mamdani yesterday doing a Muslim religious ceremony inside of the New York mayor's office is exactly what you're talking about. You know, libs, everybody's barefoot and sitting on rugs and doing Islamic religious ceremonies inside of, I think it's Gracie Mansion or potentially the New York mayor's office. Either way, an official office with the official flags, and it's like, what is this? You're exactly right. The communists are at the door. This is the party that screams like separation of church and faith, separation of church and faith. It's clearly, obviously, just separation of our country from Christianity is what they're after. Absolutely. And I don't want all my Christians to get angry and think we're going to start killing people. I hear some Christians say some things that are pretty unchristian, but we need to get involved politically. 9/11 happened, Muslim extremists, and we've got some that are in our government now. And it's just, I see it there at the gate, and we better pay attention. And you talk about the Muslim faith and Sharia law, throwing gays off of buildings, hanging little kids that do mean tweets, poking the eyes out of little girls that wear makeup. A woman has the audacity of getting raped, and then they stone her to death because she's guilty of something. That is the Muslim faith. Beheading Christians, journalists. Again, throwing bombs at peaceful protests in New York? That just happened this weekend. Yeah. If that had been if a group of Southern Baptists had done that, buddy, it'd have been headlines everywhere. Every editorial had been. The internet would just be jammed with all their paid influencers to doing that, and the national media, shame on them. That $15 they spent on their journalism school, I think they need to get it back, because they have this is just unbelievable. And that's the kind of thing we should be messaging, Benny. We should be messaging this, but we've got the Democrats and the national media, you've seen those split screens where they all say the exact same thing just over and over and over again. That's messages sent out. We need to have an apparatus to do just that, send a message out that's true and concise, because that's what America responds to. And we need to do that.